Angela's hands trembled as she shoved open the bathroom door, her breath unsteady. The house echoed with the sound of Brad's raised voice downstairs, again. She locked the door behind her and pressed her back against it, covering her ears as if that could shut him out. Angela, we're not done talking. Brad's voice boomed through the hallway, thick with anger, guilt, and the entitlement he always carried like a second skin. She squeezed her eyes shut. She couldn't do this right now. Not tonight. Not after everything she had just discovered. She moved toward the sink, her fingers brushing over the 3 printed photos lying on the marble counter. Photos she'd taken from Brad's hidden folder on his laptop. Photos of him kissing another woman in a hotel lobby, holding her waist, entering a room with her, leaving it hours later. Her stomach twisted. She felt sick. A soft knock interrupted her spiraling thoughts. Not Brad's. This one was gentle, hesitant. Mom. Her daughter Lila's small voice leaked through the door. Are you okay? Angela swallowed hard. She forced her voice steady. I'm fine, baby. Go to your room. I'll be there soon. Okay. Small footsteps faded away. Angela covered her mouth and inhaled sharply, fighting tears. She couldn't break down. Not in front of her kids. She turned on the faucet, splashing cold water on her face. Downstairs, Brad's phone buzzed. Twice. Then again. She knew who it was. She grabbed the photos, shoved them into her pocket, and unlocked the door. As she walked down the stairs, Brad was already pacing, his jaw tight, his phone still lit up. Who is it? Angela asked, her voice flat. No one. Brad replied too quickly. Work stuff. Call them back, she said. What? Call them, she repeated, stepping closer. On speaker. Brad's expression shifted, a flash of panic crossing his face before he masked it with anger. You don't get to demand that from me. She stared him down. I know about her. Brad froze. The silence between them stretched, thick and suffocating. Then he laughed, an ugly, dismissive laugh. Angela, don't start. You're blowing things out of proportion. She took the photos out of her pocket and tossed them at him. They scattered across the floor like broken truths. Brad's face drained of color. You were cheating, she whispered. And you lied to my face every single day. Brad ran a hand over his head. Angela, listen. No, her voice cracked. For once, you listen. But he didn't. He always avoided responsibility the moment it showed up. His phone buzzed again, and Angela flinched at the sound. Brad looked at the screen, then turned his phone over so she couldn't see it. I'm going to bed, he muttered. Just like that? Angela asked, disbelief twisting her chest. Brad, you smashed our family, and you think you can just walk away. He stopped at the stairs, not turning around. I'll fix it later. I'm tired. Angela's heart sank. He didn't care. Not really. Not enough. And for the first time, she felt herself detach, completely. Hours later, when the house had grown quiet, she sat alone on the couch, hugging a throw pillow, unable to sleep. Tears slid silently down her cheeks. She didn't know how long she sat there until her phone buzzed with a church group reminder. Sunday service tomorrow. She almost deleted it, but then paused. She needed peace. Silence. A place where her heart could breathe, even if it was only for an hour. The church smelled faintly of incense and polished wood as Angela slipped into the back row the next morning, her eyes puffy from crying. Soft music filled the building, a gentle hum of voices and warm light filtering through stained glass. She wasn't sure she believed in God anymore, not after everything life had taken from her, but she believed in silence. The previous priest had retired 2 weeks ago, but she didn't know who was replacing him. She didn't care, until he walked out. Father Daniel. Tall, soft-spoken, dark, thoughtful eyes. A presence that pulled attention without demanding it. There was something in the way he moved, controlled, almost guarded, as if he carried the weight of a world no one knew about. He began speaking, and Angela's breath stilled. His voice was deep but gentle, with a warmth that reached places in her heart she'd spent years burying. He spoke about brokenness, forgiveness, and finding strength in the darkest corners of life. His words hit her too directly, too personally. Her eyes burned with unshed tears. After service, Angela tried to leave quickly, not wanting anyone to see how much she was unraveling. But as she stepped out of the pew, her shoulder brushed someone. I'm so sorry, she murmured. It's all right, a calm voice replied. She looked up and froze. Father Daniel stood in front of her, closer than she expected. He studied her carefully, almost as if reading pain written in invisible ink. "Are you all right?" he asked softly. She blinked, caught off guard. "Yes. I mean, I'm fine." "You don't look fine," he said, not unkindly. Her chest tightened. She shook her head, trying to step around him, but he gently reached out, stopping just before touching her arm, as if waiting for permission. "I'm here if you need someone to talk to." His sincerity almost broke her. She nodded quickly and hurried outside. That night, Angela sat in her kitchen staring at the wall. The kids were asleep. Brad still hadn't come home. Another business trip, he had texted earlier. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "This is Father Daniel. I hope you made it home safely. If you ever need someone to talk to, you can reach out." Her heart thumped. She hadn't given him her number. Then she realized, church records. He was probably checking on all new visitors. Still, something about it made her feel seen in a way she hadn't in years. She typed a response. "Thank you. I'm okay." She stared at the blinking cursor. Then typed again. "Actually, I'm not okay." The phone rang almost immediately. She hesitated, then answered. "Angela." His voice was warm, steady, grounding. "Talk to me." And she did. For the first time in a long time, words spilled out of her without fear of judgment. She didn't tell him everything, just enough. The lies, the infidelity, the loneliness. Father Daniel listened. Really listened. "I'm sorry you're going through that," he said quietly. "No one deserves to be betrayed." Hearing that sent a tremor through her. Brad had made her feel crazy, dramatic, unreasonable. But someone finally said the truth out loud. "Thank you," Angela whispered, wiping her eyes. There was a pause. A gentle one. "You sound tired," he said. "Try to rest tonight. I'll pray for you." She didn't believe in prayer, but she believed in kindness. "Good night, Father Daniel." "Good night, Angela." When she hung up, she realized her heartbeat had slowed for the first time in days. She didn't know then, couldn't know, that this moment would be the beginning of everything. The beginning of a connection neither of them were prepared for. The beginning of a betrayal that would eclipse even Brad's. The beginning of a secret that could destroy all three of them. And a child who might not belong to the man everyone assumed. Angela woke up the next morning before her alarm, startled by how little sleep she'd gotten. Her eyes felt heavy, but her mind kept replaying last night's conversation with Father Daniel. Something about the way he listened, without judgment, without impatience, felt dangerous. Comforting, but dangerous. Downstairs, Brad sat at the dining table eating cereal with his phone propped in front of him. He didn't look up. Not once. Angela forced a greeting. "Morning." Brad muttered, scrolling. A cold wall stood between them. Even the kids sensed it, moving around quietly as if afraid to disturb something fragile. "I'm dropping the kids at school," Angela said. Brad shrugged. "Do whatever." She clenched her jaw. She was so done with this version of him. Distant, self-centered, dismissive. "Are you coming home tonight?" she asked. He didn't answer immediately, which told her everything. "Not sure," he finally said. "Depends on work." Work. The same excuse he used before disappearing into another woman's bed. She nodded slowly. "Okay." But inside, something cracked further. Something that had been hanging by threads finally snapped. On the drive back home after dropping the kids off, she found herself pulling into the church parking lot without even planning to. Her hands seemed to guide the wheel on their own. She sat in the silence of her car for a full minute before she stepped out. The cool morning air brushed her cheeks as she headed toward the church doors. Inside, the building felt empty, peaceful. She saw Father Daniel near the altar, arranging him books. He looked up as she approached, surprise flashing across his features before softening into something warmer. "Angela," he said gently. "I wasn't expecting you." "Sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean to interrupt." "You're not interrupting." He set the books aside. "What's wrong?" She didn't answer. Couldn't. Shame and exhaustion wrapped around her throat. Father Daniel stepped closer, leaving enough distance to stay respectful, but close enough that she could feel his presence. "You can talk to me," he said quietly. Angela sank into the nearest pew, burying her face in her hands. Her voice came out choked. "I feel like I'm falling apart." He sat beside her, keeping his gaze forward instead of directly at her. "You're not falling apart," he said. "You're carrying too much alone." That hit her so deeply her eyes filled instantly. "I don't know what to do," she whispered. "Brad doesn't care. He barely talks to me. He lies about everything. And I feel so alone." He didn't respond right away. When he finally spoke, his voice had softened further. Being alone while still living with someone. That's one of the worst kinds of loneliness. She turned to him. His expression held empathy, but also something else. Something unspoken. "Thank you," she said quietly. "You've been kinder to me in 2 days than my husband has in 2 years." He inhaled slowly, as if steadying himself. "You deserve kindness. You deserve someone who values you." Her throat tightened. "You don't know me." He looked at her then. Really looked. "I know enough." Her breath caught. Heat fluttered through her chest. Unexpected. Dangerous. She stood abruptly to break the moment. "I should go." He rose too. "Angela, if you ever need to come here, even just to sit, the doors are open." She nodded, grateful but overwhelmed, then left before her emotions betrayed her. That evening felt heavier than usual. Brad didn't come home, not that she expected him to, but Angela found herself pacing the living room, restless. She kept checking her phone, not sure what she was waiting for. A message from Father Daniel? An apology from Brad? A sign that her life wasn't collapsing? None came. She finally settled on the couch, hugging a blanket around her shoulders. She replayed the scene in the church, the way Daniel's voice wrapped around her wounds, the way he looked at her with genuine concern. Her phone vibrated. Her heart skipped. It was him. "Are you safe at home?" She exhaled shakily, tapping out a reply. "Yes. Thank you for earlier." His response appeared seconds later. "You look like you needed someone. I'm glad you came." Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She shouldn't say more. She shouldn't. But the loneliness spoke first. "You make me feel seen." She hit send before she could undo it. The typing bubble appeared. Stopped. Appeared again. Stopped. Then finally, "Angela, I have to be careful with what I say, but I'm here for you. Always." Her chest tightened painfully. Another message came through. "Try to sleep. You need rest." She set her phone aside, but her heart thudded long into the night. Over the next few days, Angela found herself returning to the church more often. Sometimes she talked to him. Sometimes they just sat in silence. But every time she saw him, something inside her steadied, and something else unraveled. Their conversations grew deeper. Their smiles lingered longer. Their goodbyes grew harder. One afternoon, she brought homemade banana bread for the church volunteers. Father Daniel was in his small office when she knocked gently on the open door. He looked up, startled. "Angela, I brought this for the volunteers," she said, lifting the container slightly. "Thought I'd drop it off." "That's thoughtful," he said, standing. "Thank you." He stepped forward to take it, but their fingers brushed. A spark shot straight through her. They both froze. His eyes flicked to hers, searching, conflicted, burning. Neither moved. Neither breathed. Then he stepped back abruptly, clearing his throat. Thank you. They'll appreciate it." She nodded quickly. "Of course. I should go." "Angela." She paused at the doorway. For a moment, he looked like he wanted to say something he wasn't allowed to say. Instead, he just exhaled slowly. "Take care of yourself." She nodded and walked away, her pulse racing. The next night, Brad came home drunk. The kids were already asleep when he stumbled in, slamming the door behind him. Angela rose from the couch, startled. "Brad, where have you been? You didn't answer your phone." He sneered. "I don't know you updates. You do when you disappear for days." He scoffed and dropped his keys on the counter. "Stop nagging. You're always nagging. No wonder I go elsewhere." The words hit her like a punch. She stepped back, breath shaking. "You're unbelievable." He staggered closer, pointing a finger at her chest. "You think you're a saint? You think you're perfect? Look at you. Pathetic. Crying every day. No wonder I don't come home." Angela felt something twist, rage, hurt, humiliation all at once. "Brad," she whispered, voice trembling, "just stop." He leaned closer, his breath sour. "Or what? You gonna run to someone else for comfort? Maybe that priest you've been visiting." Her blood turned cold. "How do you?" "I'm not stupid," he snapped. "I see the calls. The messages. Don't forget, I pay the phone bill." Angela froze. Her heart began thudding violently. Brad smirked. "Maybe you're the one cheating now." "That's not true," she fired back. "He's just helping me. Talking to me. Because you won't." Brad laughed bitterly. "God, you're pathetic." She flinched. He wasn't done. "Maybe I should tell the church their golden boy priest is talking privately to a married woman," Brad said, eyes narrowing. "Wonder how that would look." A wave of fear shot through her. "Brad." She whispered, "Please don't do that." "Oh, now you care." He shoved past her and headed upstairs. "I'm taking the bed tonight. Sleep somewhere else." She stayed frozen in place until she heard the bedroom door slam upstairs. Then her knees buckled. Tears poured down her cheeks as she collapsed onto the couch. She grabbed her phone with trembling hands. She didn't know who else to call. She didn't know who else she trusted anymore. Her thumb hovered shakily over Father Daniel's name, and she pressed call. The phone rang twice. He answered immediately. "Angela." His voice was laced with concern. "What's wrong?" She covered her mouth, trying to control her sobs. "I'm sorry. I didn't know who else to call." "Where are you?" he asked urgently. "At home." "Is Brad there?" His tone sharpened. "Yes, but he's drunk. He's angry. He threatened to tell the church we've been talking." Silence. Heavy, dangerous silence. "Angela," he said quietly, "do you want me to come there?" She stopped breathing. He regretted the question immediately. She heard it in the way he inhaled sharply afterward. But the question hung between them, thick with temptation and fear. "Do you?" he repeated, voice lower this time. Angela's lips parted. She didn't know what she would say, but she knew that whatever she said next would change everything. Angela's hand hovered over the phone. Her heart thundered so loudly she was sure Brad would hear it upstairs. She swallowed. "Yes," she whispered finally. "Come." There was a pause. "Are you sure?" His voice trembled slightly, not with fear, but with something heavier. Desire? Concern? Guilt? Angela didn't know. She didn't care. "Not right now." "I'm sure," she said, almost to convince herself more than him. Within 15 minutes, a soft knock came at the door. She opened it, and there he was. Father Daniel, eyes scanning her quickly, taking in the faint traces of her tears, the tension in her shoulders, the way her fingers fidgeted with the sleeve of her sweater. "Angela," he said quietly, "are you okay?" His tone was both gentle and piercing, as if he could see every crack in her heart. I don't know," she admitted, stepping aside to let him in. He entered cautiously, almost reverently. The air between them felt charged, dangerous. She could feel the pull of him even before their hands brushed as she closed the door. He set a hand lightly on her arm. "You're safe," he said softly. "I'm here." Something inside her unraveled. A sob escaped before she could stop it. He guided her gently to the couch, and she let herself collapse into his space, the warmth of him grounding her, soothing her, igniting something she knew she shouldn't feel. "I've missed this," she whispered, almost ashamed. The words came out before she could think, before reason could stop her. Daniel froze, the weight of her words hanging in the room. "Missed what?" "This, talking, feeling, being understood," she said, her voice trembling. "I've been so alone." He swallowed hard, his jaw tight. Angela, I can't," his voice caught. He stopped, just looked at her. There was restraint in his gaze, but also an undeniable longing. And then it happened. One small movement, one glance, one hand brushing against another. Everything escalated instantly. The space between them closed as if gravity itself was pulling them together. Her lips met his before she fully realized it. Tentative at first, testing, then insistent, desperate. Daniel's hands cradled her face, pulling her closer. Every boundary she had clung to fell away in that instant. Years of frustration, of loneliness, of betrayal, all poured into that kiss. It was wrong. She knew it. She knew it in her mind, in the back of her throat screaming at her to stop. But her body ignored the warnings. Desire overrode judgment. Pain mingled with longing. She had never felt anything like this. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. They broke apart only for breaths, only to collide again. They whispered each other's names in between gasps, voices trembling, raw with emotion. There was no thought of the world outside, no thought of consequences, only the magnetic, dangerous pull of forbidden connection. When it finally ended, they sat in silence, foreheads pressed together, chests heaving. "I shouldn't have," Daniel whispered. "No," Angela said, shaking her head. "I shouldn't have, but I did." Her voice was steady now, filled with a strange, reckless acceptance. He closed his eyes. "Angela, if anyone ever found out your marriage, my position, everything could be ruined." "I know," she said softly, "but I needed this. I needed you." Her eyes met his, searching, daring. "Do you understand?" "I understand," he whispered. "More than I should." They didn't speak for a while after that. Words were pointless. Silence spoke louder. They lingered, wrapped in each other's arms, the dangerous intimacy pressing down on both their hearts. Eventually, Angela stood, hands trembling. I should go, she said. Reality rushed back in, sharp and bitter. Daniel nodded, stepping back. Are you sure? His eyes begged her to stay. She swallowed. I have to. I can't. He didn't finish his sentence either. Instead, he pressed a single, lingering kiss to her temple, a silent vow and a warning at the same time. She walked out into the night air, cold and crisp, but her heart was burning. Every step felt heavier than the last, but she didn't turn back. Not yet. Not until she could think. The next morning, Angela woke to a pounding headache. Brad was gone again. Texted he had a last-minute meeting. She didn't care. Not anymore. Not fully. Instead, she thought about Daniel, the taste of his lips, the heat of his hands, the way he looked at her like she was the only thing in the world worth saving. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Are you okay? Angela froze, then smiled faintly. I'm better than okay. I need to see you. Her chest tightened. She typed back carefully. We can't not here. Then somewhere else. Anywhere. I need you. She didn't reply immediately. Her mind raced. This was madness. She knew it. They were both teetering on a line they could never cross without consequences. And yet, the pull was irresistible. She left a note on the kitchen counter. I had to step out. I'll be back soon. She ignored Brad's unopened text. She didn't care what he thought. The car ride to the secluded park felt endless. She parked under the shadow of trees, heart hammering so violently it felt like it would burst from her chest. Her phone buzzed again. Angela. He was there, leaning against the hood of his car, looking as impossibly composed as ever. Until he saw her, and his shoulders slumped just slightly. Relief, fear, longing, all mixed in one glance. She stepped out. I shouldn't, she whispered. Don't, he interrupted softly. You don't have to say anything. They walked toward a nearby bench. Sitting side by side, their shoulders brushed. Neither spoke at first. Just the sound of the wind through leaves, the rustle of distant traffic, and their synchronized breathing. Finally, she whispered, I'm scared. Of what? He asked, taking her hand in his. Warm, solid, real. Of everything, she said. Of what Brad will do if he finds out, of what the church will say, of us. She couldn't finish. The word us felt explosive on her lips. Daniel squeezed her hand. Angela, I don't have the answers. I don't know what will happen. But I do know this. I care about you. More than I ever should. Her breath hitched. I care about you too. It was a confession that broke them both. Not words meant for the world. Not words meant for anyone but each other. Dangerous, forbidden, intoxicating. The bench became their world. Hours passed. One hand on her knee, one thumb brushing hers. Eyes locked, breathing mingling. Words unnecessary. Every touch, every glance, every heartbeat spoke of desire, of connection, of perilous trust. And then the first raindrop fell. A gentle, soft dot against her hand. Then another. They looked up. Rain streaked down like silver threads. The sky wept with them, or perhaps for them. Without thinking, they laughed. A brief, shared sound that eased the tension momentarily. Then the clouds opened fully. Rain poured down. Angela gasped as she realized how soaked she was. Daniel's coat was draped over her shoulders, clinging now, his chest pressing close. Neither of them pulled away. The world was gone. Only the rain, only the heat, only the forbidden. And as they huddled together, Angela's phone buzzed violently in her pocket. A text from Brad. Where are you? I know you're lying. Answer me now. Angela froze. The text felt like fire against her chest. Every instinct screamed to run. Every instinct screamed to hide. Daniel looked at her. We can't stay here. But Angela, chest heaving, shook her head. I can't, Brad, he'll know. But I can't go yet. Not now. They held each other as the storm raged around them, the world exploding outside, mirroring the chaos inside. And for the first time, Angela realized she might not be able to stop herself. Not from him. Not from this. Not from the consequences that were coming faster than they could possibly imagine. Angela grabbed the rail as her knees nearly buckled. Daniel, don't, she whispered, but she didn't move away. I can't lie anymore, he said softly. I tried to distance myself. I tried to convince myself that what happened between us was a mistake. But I think about you every day. I think about that night like it's carved into my bones. Her breath shuddered. Why are you telling me this now? Because you're carrying a child, he said, voice trembling. And if there's even a chance that child is mine, then I can't stay silent. Angela's chest tightened. Tears filled her eyes as she shook her head. This is too much. Everything is spinning out of control. Daniel stepped closer without touching her. I'm not trying to make your life harder. I know you're scared. I am too. Then stop, she shouted suddenly, startling him. Stop confessing things you can't take back. Stop making me feel things I shouldn't feel. He swallowed hard. I can't help loving. She held up her hand sharply. Don't say it. His mouth closed, but his eyes said the rest. The choir's humming ended, and the church fell quiet, leaving only the sound of Angela's shaky breathing. She turned away abruptly. I have to get back before Brad gets home. We'll talk later. Angela. No. She stepped backward toward the exit. Don't follow me. And she left him standing there, hands trembling at his sides, heart torn between God and a woman he should have never touched. When Angela reached home, her hands still shaking, she found the living room lights dimmed. Brad sat on the couch, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor. Her stomach dropped. Where were you? He asked, voice low. Too calm. The anger-fueled Brad was one thing. The quiet Brad was worse. I went to see Father Daniel, she answered truthfully. We needed to talk. He nodded slowly. About what? Her throat tightened. About everything. He finally looked up at her, eyes dark, exhausted. He knows, doesn't he? About the baby. She froze. Don't lie to me, Angela, Brad said. I can tell. I haven't told him anything, she whispered. We talked about boundaries. That's all. He rubbed his face hard. I don't even know what to believe anymore. Angela stepped forward. Brad, don't, he said sharply, standing. Just don't. I'm trying so hard to fix things. I'm trying to be better. But you keep running back to him. He's my priest, she argued. I needed clarity. Clarity, he repeated, scoffing. Is that what you call this mess? Is that what you call sneaking around? You think I'm stupid? Tears burned her eyes. I'm not sneaking around. Brad pointed toward her phone on the table. Your GPS tracker says different. Her heart thudded painfully. You what? You're tracking me. His face twisted with shame and anger. I panicked, okay? You've been distant, distracted, lying awake at night, disappearing to the church at odd hours. What was I supposed to think? That I'm a human being worth talking to instead of spying on, she snapped. He flinched. The silence that followed was heavy. Brad's voice cracked. Angela, I don't want to lose you. She felt the weight of his words, the desperation, the fear, but she also felt the suffocation. You already did, she whispered. His face crumbled. Don't say that. She brushed past him, unable to hold herself together. Upstairs, she locked the bathroom door and sank onto the floor, sobbing. Nothing made sense anymore. Not her marriage, not her heart, not the looming truth living inside her womb. Later that night, while Angela tried to sleep, Brad lay awake staring at the ceiling, frustration burning in his chest. His phone buzzed. A message from a private investigator he'd hired quietly 3 days ago. We need to talk. I found something about the priest. Brad's jaw clenched. He sat up, and he responded, meet me tomorrow. The next morning, Angela woke to Brad already gone. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Meet me at St. Mary's Garden behind the church. Please. D. Her pulse quickened. She hesitated, staring at the message for a long moment before finally getting up and grabbing her jacket. The garden behind the church was quiet. Morning dew glistened on the grass, and Daniel stood under a willow tree, looking like he hadn't slept. Angela approached slowly. Why did you call me here? He turned. His face was pale, his eyes tired but soft. Because I need you to know something before everything falls apart. What do you mean? He swallowed. My father, he's coming to town. Her heart lurched. The bishop? Yes. Why is that bad? Because he knows something's wrong. He always knows. Daniel looked down. He's the one who forced me into the priesthood in the first place. Angela stared at him. Forced you? Daniel nodded. He found out about my past. The films. The life I lived. He thought the only way to cleanse me was to make me a priest. It's twisted, I know. Angela touched her stomach protectively. What happens if he finds out about the baby? Daniel's eyes filled with fear. He'll ruin us. Both of us. And he'll destroy my life in ways you can't imagine. Angela stepped closer. Daniel, we can't let this get out of control. His voice dropped. It already is. Her breath hitched, because she felt it too. Every direction felt dangerous. Every truth felt like a ticking bomb. Suddenly, footsteps crunched behind them. They turned sharply. Brad. He stood there, chest heaving, eyes blazing, betrayal radiating off him in waves. So this is where you run off to, he said, voice like thunder. Again, Daniel stiffened. Brad. Shut up, Brad snapped. Both of you. I'm done being the fool. Angela held up her hands. Please, calm down. Brad pointed at Daniel. You're a priest. You're supposed to be helping families, not sleeping with married women. Daniel's jaw clenched. You don't understand what happened. Oh, I understand perfectly. Brad took a step forward. Guess what I found out last night? Your past. Your little career before the collar. Angela's face drained of color. Daniel's fists tightened. Brad laughed bitterly. Yeah, I know everything. I know who you were before your holy transformation. Brad, stop, Angela begged. No, Brad roared. He's been lying to everyone. You think this is a real priest? He's a fraud. Daniel stepped between Brad and Angela. I'm warning you. Back away. Or what? Brad challenged. You gonna sin again? Brad, please, Angela cried. Stop. But Brad shoved Daniel hard. Daniel stumbled back before catching himself. Brad moved to shove him again, until Daniel grabbed Brad's wrist with lightning speed. Do not touch me again, Daniel said, voice trembling with barely controlled restraint. Brad yanked his arm away. Hit me. Go ahead. Show her who you really are. Angela stepped between them. Enough. But neither man listened. Brad glared at Daniel. If this baby isn't mine, I swear to God. Stop talking about the baby. Angela screamed, shaking. Stop using this child as a weapon. Both men froze. Her hands trembled as she wiped tears off her cheeks. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm scared. And I'm trapped between the two of you like some object. Brad's face softened a little. Angela. No, she whispered. I need space. I need clarity. And I can't breathe with both of you tearing each other apart. Daniel stepped forward gently. Angela, please. She stepped back, holding her stomach. Stay away. Both of you. Then she turned and walked away, leaving them standing like enemies in a war neither truly understood. While Angela drove aimlessly to clear her head, Brad stormed to his car and gripped the steering wheel, breathing hard. His phone buzzed. Another message from the PI. There's more. I dug deeper. You're going to want to see this. Brad stared at the message. A dark idea formed in his mind. Whatever leverage this investigator had, Brad intended to use it, even if it meant destroying Daniel completely. Meanwhile, Daniel went back into the church, shoulders heavy, faith cracking. He sat in the front pew, burying his face in his hands. His phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. He opened it, and his entire body went cold. It was a screenshot of him, from years ago, from his past career, followed by a message. You thought you could outrun your sins. You thought you could hide. You can't. We're coming. Daniel's heart pounded. He knew exactly who sent it. His father. And he knew this was only the beginning. Angela, still driving, pulled over near a quiet lake and sobbed into her steering wheel until her chest hurt. She didn't notice the car slowly pulling up behind her, or the figure stepping out. A woman. Blonde hair. Red lips. Sharp eyes. She tapped Angela's window. Angela looked up, confused. Yes. You don't know me, the woman says. But I know everything about you. And about Father Daniel. Angela frowned. Who are you? The woman smiled coldly. I'm his ex. Angela's blood ran to ice. The woman leaned in. And trust me, whatever you think you know about him, you don't know the half of it. Angela stared at the woman, her heartbeat quickening. His ex? She repeated, gripping the steering wheel. I don't understand. Oh, you will, the woman said, leaning her arms casually on the window as if this were a friendly visit. My name is Serena. Daniel and we go way back. Angela swallowed hard. What do you want? Serena gave a sly smile. To warn you. Before you crash your entire life over a man you clearly don't know. Angela felt a knot tighten in her stomach. I don't need warnings from strangers. Oh, you do. Serena's voice softened, but the bitterness underneath cut like glass. Daniel ruins people. He ruined me. And he's about to ruin you too. Angela's breath caught. You're lying. Believe me or don't, it's all the same. But when his past becomes your nightmare, just remember, I tried to save you. Serena started to pull away, but Angela pushed open her car door and stepped out. Tell me what you mean. Don't just drop poison and walk away. Serena paused, turning back slowly. Fine. You want the truth? Daniel was never forced into anything. That story about his father pushing him into priesthood? Half true at best. He ran away to the church because he couldn't face the mess he made. Angela shook her head. That doesn't make sense, doesn't it? Serena stepped closer. He used people. The same way he used me. The same way he's about to use you. And trust me, honey, he's very good at pretending he's the victim. Angela's pulse thudded in her ears. Why are you here? Really? Serena smirked. Because someone contacted me. Someone who wants Daniel exposed. Someone who has dirt on him. Angela froze. Serena leaned in. Your husband. Angela's chest tightened painfully. Brad contacted you? He reached out last night. Said he was digging into Daniel's past. Wanted confirmation. Serena laughed lightly. And oh, I had plenty. Angela stumbled back, shaking her head. This is too much. Serena stepped away calmly. You're in deeper than you realize, Angela. And trust me, this story won't end the way you think. Angela stared as Serena got back into her car and drove off, leaving a cloud of dust and dread behind her. Her hands trembled. Her thoughts spiraled. She didn't know what was true anymore. Who to trust? Who to fear? She pressed a hand over her stomach, whispering shakily, Baby, what am I going to do? Across town, Brad sat in a dim bar booth, waiting with growing impatience. At last, the private investigator slid into the seat opposite him, a man with hollow eyes and a face carved by too many secrets. You said you found something? Brad said immediately. The investigator dropped a folder onto the table. Something big. Brad opened it, then froze. There were photos, screenshots, contracts, records from the adult industry with Daniel's stage name plastered across every page. I already know this, Brad muttered. This isn't. Keep flipping, the investigator said. Brad did. What he saw next made his jaw tighten. Financial records, wire transfers, messages between Daniel and an unknown account. What is this? Brad demanded. Money laundering, the investigator said quietly. Potentially. And whatever these transfers were for, they involve his father. Brad stared at a highlighted line. Payment received. Keep him quiet. Keep him in line. His stomach twisted. What does that mean? Doesn't matter what it means, the investigator said. What matters is that the church would lose their minds if this came out. And Daniel? He'd be finished. Brad exhaled slowly, angrily. Good. The investigator watched him carefully. You really want to take this man down? Brad's jaw tightened. He slept with my wife. He destroyed my marriage. And he's pretending to be holy while hiding all this. He slammed the folder shut. So yes, I want him destroyed. The investigator nodded. I can provide more. For a price. Brad didn't hesitate. Do it. The man smiled, a thin, dangerous smile. Meanwhile, Daniel sat in the church's confessional room, staring at his phone screen, the threatening message from his father still open. He felt his chest tighten. The walls felt too close. His collar chafed at his neck like a noose. He replayed Angela's voice in his mind, her tears, her fear, her exhaustion. He had failed her. He had failed himself. He had failed God. Suddenly, the confessional door creaked open. Mr. Holy Man, a familiar voice purred. Still hiding in the dark, I see. Daniel's head snapped up. Serena stepped inside. His heart sank. What are you doing here? Daniel whispered. Oh, come on, she said, rolling her eyes. You knew I'd show up eventually. I don't have time for your games, he muttered. Serena sat beside him in the cramped booth, far too close. This isn't a game, Daniel. Brad hired me. Daniel stiffened. Hired you for what? To talk, she said. To share what I know. To help expose you. Daniel felt the blood drain from his face. Serena, please. Don't do this. Oh, don't pretend you're innocent. Serena crossed her arms. You left me without a second thought. You used me for years, then ran off to hide in a church. You know that's not true, he snapped. You and I were never real? Oh, save it. Serena stood. I'm not here for closure. I'm here to watch everything you built fall apart. Daniel stood too, chest heaving. Serena, stop. Please. This isn't just about me. There's a child involved now. Serena blinked. Her expression changed slightly. A what? Daniel froze. He realized his mistake a second too late. Serena's face lit up with cruel delight. Oh my God, you knocked her up. Daniel's heart pounded. Serena, that's rich. She laughed, shaking her head. A priest with a secret baby? This story just gets better and better. He stepped closer. I'm begging you. Don't involve Angela. Don't involve the baby. Serena's smile faded. She leaned in, whispering, then you better pray Brad never finds out the truth. Angela sat at the lake for another half hour before forcing herself to drive home. Her stomach was heavy, her mind numb. Her world was spiraling faster than she could stop it. When she entered the house, Brad was already there, sitting at the dining table with the folder in front of him. Angela froze. What is that? Brad tapped the folder. Everything about your precious priest. Her chest tightened. Brad, please don't do this. Don't what? Brad snapped. Don't protect you? Don't protect our kids? Don't protect our marriage from a manipulative predator. You don't know him, Angela whispered. I know enough, he said coldly. And tomorrow, the bishop will know too. Angela's breath caught. You're going to the church? Brad nodded. With proof. Brad, no, she cried. Please. If you do this. What? Brad stood. What are you protecting him from? If that baby is his. It's not, she lied. Brad's eyes narrowed. Say it again. Angela's mouth dried. It's not. His jaw clenched. You hesitated. I'm overwhelmed, Brad, she screamed. I'm pregnant and terrified and confused, and you're threatening to blow up everything. Well, good, Brad said, grabbing the folder. Maybe everything should explode. He started toward the door. Angela grabbed his arm. Brad, please, don't go. He ripped his arm away. I'm done listening to you. The bishop gets this tomorrow morning. He left the house, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. Angela collapsed to her knees, her entire body trembling. Her life was collapsing in slow motion. That night, just past midnight, Angela heard a soft tapping at her bedroom window. She startled, stepping back. The tapping came again. She hesitated before opening the curtain and gasped. Daniel stood outside, soaked from rain, eyes red-rimmed. She pushed the window open. Daniel, what are you doing here? I need to talk to you, he said. Right now. This isn't safe, she whispered. Brad. Brad is the least of our problems, Daniel interrupted. Your husband has evidence. He contacted my ex. My father is coming to destroy me. And Serena knows about the baby. Angela felt the world tilt. Oh God. Daniel's voice broke. Please. I'm losing everything. I need you. Her eyes filled with tears. He wasn't just desperate. He was scared. Truly, genuinely scared. And something inside Angela snapped into protectiveness. She pushed the window open farther. Come in. Daniel climbed inside, dripping water on the hardwood floor. For a moment, he just stood there, chest heaving, staring at her like she was the only anchor he had left. I'm sorry, he whispered. Angela shook her head. You don't need to be sorry. You need to tell me everything. Before he could speak, the bedroom door handle clicked. Angela froze. Daniel froze. The handle turned slowly. Footsteps. Someone was in the hallway. And whoever it was approaching the bedroom. The doorknob twisted fully. Angela's breath hitched as Daniel instinctively moved behind the bedroom curtain, flattening himself against the wall. He wasn't breathing. Neither was she. The door opened. Mom, a small, sleepy voice whispered. Angela exhaled in relief, so sudden she nearly collapsed. Maya, sweetheart, you scared me. Her 8-year-old daughter rubbed her eyes. I had a nightmare. Angela knelt, brushing her hair. Come here, baby. But Maya's gaze drifted toward the shadow behind the curtain. Mom, is someone in your room? Angela froze. No, honey, she said gently. Just the wind moving the curtain. Maya stared for a moment longer, unconvinced but too tired to question it. Want to sleep in my bed? Angela whispered. Maya nodded, and Angela guided her toward the hallway. Before leaving, Angela glanced back at the curtain. Daniel's outline stayed still as stone. She closed the door softly. When she returned 10 minutes later, Daniel stepped out, skin pale, breathing unsteady. We can't keep doing this, Angela whispered harshly. It's too dangerous. For everyone. Daniel nodded, voice trembling. I know, but I had no one else to come to. You have to tell me everything, she insisted. Right now? No more secrets. He sat down on the edge of the bed like his legs were giving out. It started years ago, he began. Before the church. Before everything, my father was a bishop with power and influence. He thought my past, my sins, would embarrass him. So he controlled me, paid me off, hid me, threatened me. Angela's stomach twisted. Threatened you how? He told me he'd make sure no one ever hired me again. That he'd leak the worst pieces of my past to the press if I disobeyed. He forced me into the priesthood to purify me, his words. Angela felt sick. And now, she whispered. Daniel met her eyes. Now he thinks I've disobeyed him again. And if he finds out about the baby, he will destroy my life. And yours. Angela held his gaze, tears forming. You are not alone anymore, Daniel. He looked at her like he didn't believe he deserved to hear that. Before he could respond, a loud bang echoed outside. They both startled. Angela rushed to the window and peeked through the blinds. A car door slammed. Headlights flashed. Then she saw him, Brad, standing on the lawn, staring at the house with wild, furious eyes. His fist clenched around the folder of evidence. He's back, Angela whispered, panic flooding her chest. Daniel stood. I need to leave. No, you can't go out there, she hissed. He'll see you. I can't stay here either, Daniel said. He'll kill me. Angela grabbed his arm. Window. Go through the window. Daniel hesitated, torn. Daniel, please, she urged. Go. I'll handle Brad. Daniel climbed out onto the roof carefully, disappearing into the darkness. Angela shut the window and rushed downstairs just as Brad's key turned in the front door lock. He entered, rain dripping off him, folder in hand, jaw clenched so hard she feared his teeth would crack. He stared at her, not with anger, but with betrayal so deep it felt bottomless. Where is he? Brad asked. Angela's blood ran cold. Who? You know damn well who, he snapped. I saw the shadows upstairs. I'm not an idiot. Angela lifted her chin. It was Maya. She had a nightmare. Brad stepped closer, towering over her. Don't do that. Don't lie to me when the truth is sitting on your skin like sweat. Angela swallowed, trying not to shake. Brad slammed the folder onto the counter. This man is a danger to you, to our kids, to everyone. He's not what you think, Angela whispered. He's worse. Brad pulled out a photo, thrusting it into her hand. Look, Angela looked, expecting something awful, but it was a much younger Daniel, tattooed, shirtless, posing for a photo shoot. Her chest tightened. That's his past, Brad hissed. And he lied about all of it. Angela lowered the photo. People make mistakes. He was part of criminal deals. Brad shouted. Money laundering. Do you know what happens if the police get involved? Angela stiffened. He wasn't laundering anything. Those transfers were from his father. He was being controlled, Brad. Brad stared at her in disbelief. You're defending him? Yes, she said softly. Brad staggered back like she'd hit him. So that's it. You've chosen him. A tear slipped down her cheek. I've chosen myself, Brad. And this baby. Brad's eyes darkened. Then answer me honestly right now. He stepped closer, voice breaking. Is the baby his? Angela looked down. Silence. Painful, suffocating silence. Then, yes, she whispered. Brad stumbled back, almost tripping. A raw sound escaped him, part groan, part sob. Angela, how could you? She cried harder. Brad, I never wanted any of this. I was breaking. We were already breaking. Brad's face twisted. No, don't you dare put this on our marriage. You cheated. Angela flinched. You destroyed this family, he yelled. In your arms, I was invisible. Angela choked out. In his, I felt seen. Brad froze. And for a moment, hurt replaced rage. Then he shut down completely. You know what? He said, voice hollow. Do whatever you want. I'm done. He grabbed the folder and stormed toward the door. Angela rushed after him. Brad, wait. No, he didn't look back. The bishop is getting this tomorrow. And after that, the whole world will know who your priest really is. The door slammed. The house trembled. Angela sank to her knees, sobbing into her hands. Outside, Daniel crouched behind a neighbor's fence, watching Brad peel out of the driveway, tires screeching. His chest ached. He climbed back over to Angela's yard, tapping lightly on the window. Angela hurried over and opened it, still crying. He's going to the bishop in the morning, she whispered. He has evidence. He has your ex. He has everything. Daniel's posture stiffened. I won't let him ruin you. This isn't about me, she said through tears. This is about our child. What happens when your father finds out? When the church finds out? When the world finds out you aren't who they think you are? Daniel reached through the window and took her hand. I'll face everything, he said. But I won't let you face it alone. She squeezed his hand, sobbing. Daniel, I'm scared. I know. His eyes grew wet. So am I. Suddenly, headlights flashed again. A car turned onto their street. Daniel tensed, pulling his hand back. But this wasn't Brad's car. It was a black SUV. Tinted windows. Slow. Purposeful. Angela's breath hitched. Who is that? Daniel's face drained. My father. The SUV stopped in front of the house. The driver's door opened, and a tall, stern man stepped out. The bishop, Daniel's father. He looked straight at Angela's window, as if he already knew exactly who was inside. Angela, Daniel whispered, voice cracking. Get away from the window. She stepped back. Daniel did too. The man approached the door, each step echoing like a countdown. A firm knock shook the house. Open up, the bishop called out, voice cold as winter. We need to talk. Angela's heart pounded. Daniel whispered, whatever happens, don't let him in. Knock, knock, knock. Angela, the bishop called again. I know you're in there. And I know Daniel is too. Daniel squeezed her hand one last time. I'll fix this, he whispered. How? Angela choked. He didn't answer, because he didn't know. The bishop knocked again, louder this time, authority vibrating through the walls. And Angela knew. Everything was about to explode. But she also knew she would protect her unborn child no matter what storm came next. Even if it meant going against Brad, against the church, against Daniel's father, even against Daniel himself, if she had to. The bishop called out one last time. Open the door. Now. Angela inhaled shakily. Angela's pulse thundered as the bishop continued pounding the door. Angela, open this door, he commanded. This will go much worse if you force me to involve the authorities. Daniel gripped her wrist gently. You don't have to open it, he whispered. He can't force you. Before he could finish his sentence, the doorknob rattled violently. Angela gasped. He's trying to break in. Daniel stepped forward. Stay behind me. No, Angela whispered, voice trembling but suddenly fierce. This is my house. I'll handle this. She walked to the door, every step shaking. She unlocked it slowly and opened it just a crack. The bishop towered over her, rain dripping from his coat, eyes sharp and cold. Good, he said. Now let me in. We have the problem to resolve. Angela blocked the doorway. You don't get to barge into my home. Say what you came to say. Here. His eyes narrowed. My son has disgraced the church. And my family name. You will end whatever situation exists between you immediately. Angela didn't flinch. I'm pregnant, she said. The bishop froze. Then you will terminate it, he said sharply. Tonight. Angela recoiled. Absolutely not. Angela, please, Daniel whispered behind her. The bishop shoved the door fully open, storming inside with authority like he owned the house. Daniel stepped in front of Angela. Father, stop. You're scaring her. Good, the bishop snapped. Fear is the only language you've ever understood. Daniel's jaw clenched. I won't let you control me anymore. You don't have a choice, the bishop said. You took vows. You owe your life to the church. And this woman, he jabbed a finger at Angela, is dragging you into ruin. Angela's eyes flared with anger. He's not the ruined one here. You are. The bishop turned on her. I could destroy you and your family with one phone call. A voice boomed from behind him. You won't need to. Everyone turned. Brad stood in the open doorway, holding the folder, his face emotionless. The bishop straightened. You must be the husband. Oh, I am, Brad said, stepping inside. And I've had just about enough lies from all of you. He tossed the folder onto the table. Papers spilled everywhere. Evidence. Photos. Bank transfers. Brad looked between Angela and Daniel. This ends tonight. Angela's voice trembled. Brad, please don't do anything. Quiet, Brad said, but not cruelly. Brokenly. I just want the truth now. All of it. Daniel inhaled deeply. The baby is mine. Brad closed his eyes. The truth hit him like a collapsing building. When he opened them again, they were glossy, not with rage, but with heartbreak. I loved you, Brad whispered to Angela. I know I messed up. I know I cheated first. I know I pushed you away. But how did we get here? How? Angela cried. Because I felt invisible, Brad. And lonely. And lost. And I made a terrible mistake. But this baby is not a mistake. Brad swallowed, jaw trembling. Then I'm done fighting. Daniel stiffened. What? Brad stepped aside. If she wants you, take her, Raise the baby, lie to the world, or tell the truth. I don't care anymore. I just can't do this. He walked toward the door. Angela reached for him instinctively. Brad, wait. But Brad shook his head. Goodbye, Angela. He left without looking back. Silence swallowed the room. The bishop cleared his throat, straightening his coat. Touching, but irrelevant. Daniel, you are coming with me. We will cleanse this scandal immediately. No, Daniel said. The bishop turned slowly. What did you say? Daniel stepped in front of Angela, shoulders squared. I said no. His voice no longer shook. I'm done hiding. From you. From the church. From my past. His eyes softened as he looked at Angela. And from myself. The bishop's lip curled. You will regret defying me. Daniel shook his head. I already regret everything I ever did under your control. He took Angela's hand. I choose her. And our child. Whatever consequences come. The bishop stared, stunned. Fury slowly overtook him. Then you are no longer my son. Daniel exhaled shakily. Then so be it. The bishop moved toward the door. But before leaving, he turned back once more. This scandal will not end quietly. Prepare yourselves. He left. The door shut. And for the first time all night, everything was still. Angela collapsed against Daniel, sobbing into his chest. What have we done? What are we going to do? Daniel held her tightly. We're going to face it. Together. But the church, your father, Brad, public shame. This is too much, she cried. Daniel cupped her face gently. Angela, listen to me. I don't care if I lose the church. I don't care if the world hates me. I only care about you and this baby. Her lips trembled. I'm scared. He rested his forehead against hers. So am I, he whispered. But I finally feel free. She closed her eyes. And for the first time, she believed him. Outside, dawn began to rise. A quiet, trembling light breaking through the darkness. The storm had passed. The future was terrifying, uncertain, full of potential disaster, but also full of possibility. Angela took Daniel's hand. Whatever comes next, she whispered, voice steadying. We face it as a family. Daniel smiled through tears. As a family. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Urban Folks for more emotional, dramatic stories like this. Your support helps bring more gripping narratives to the channel.